Remember when Trump rage baited Ilhan Omar? Check this out.
You should be ashamed of yourself. Stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
You can clap to that.
You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
She should really be ashamed of herself. I mean, we all have to agree to that. She lost her cool. She allowed herself to become rage baited. You could have just waited till that was over and did a speech later on your own time. But instead, she couldn't contain herself. As a full-grown adult, she showed no self-control. And she is in Congress. Make that make sense. So let me stop wasting your time and let's go through some more clips I put together for you. Let's go.
How do you not stand? How do you not stand? Members of Congress and my fellow Americans, our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before. Less than 5 months from now, our country will celebrate an epic milestone in American history, the 250th anniversary of our glorious American independence. This July 4th, we will mark 2.5 centuries of liberty and triumph, progress and freedom in the most incredible and exceptional nation ever to exist on the face of the earth.
Girl, if you don't shut the fuck up and go back to Somalia, ain't nobody trying to hear that shit.
He nails it. The United States going to give his State of the Union address, and the Democrats got other plans. So some are talking about walking out in the middle of his speech. Others are talking about boycotting it altogether and essentially finding something else to do.
Childish behavior.
I'm here to tell you that neither is acceptable.
For real.
Neither should be acceptable.
Crazy antics.
At some point in time, ladies and gentlemen, there's got to be an adult in the room.
See?
If you're going to act as juvenile, as petulant, as petty, as you accuse the president of the United States to be, how are you ever going to hold a high moral ground, at least high enough to judge him accordingly?
The irony.
If people on the right can turn and look at you and say, you're no better, you act no better, where's it going to get you? See, these are the kind of things that end up getting people like myself and others in the news because we're talking about getting things done. I've said repeatedly, and I'll state it again, and I'll make news by saying it again. I have no desire to be an elected official. I've never entertained politics in my life. I'm certainly not an aficionado on the issues. Got a long way to go to learn all the things that go on. But you know what I have? I have common sense.
Exactly.
I have decency. I have respect for the office even when or if I didn't respect the individual. Because I would understand that as a representative, whether it be that as a representative or a senator in the United States of America, guess what? I have a constituency to answer to. And I have people who need me, who I represent. And whether I like it or not, this individual is in office until 2028. And I got to find a way to do business with him in order to get something done. You see, when you go to the American people and you ask the American people, yo, stand up, step up and handle your business. Stop bitching and screaming all the time. When you got problems at the job, when you got bills to pay, when you got a family to take care of, find a way to work around it and handle your business. How come that can't apply to elected officials?
Hey.
Why do they get away with that? Why do they get to circumvent those rules and regulations? Why do they get
it's only okay
to circumvent the need and the insistence
tell you who
of
to hate.
Mere decorum?
Huh.
This is the kind of stuff that ticks me off.
So one of the most powerful parts of Trump's State of the Union address was not a policy statement. It was a question. Watch this.
If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
That's disrespectful. In your face like a can of mace, baby.
So, as you can see, Republicans stood up and cheered. Democrats, they stayed in their seats. And that visual split right down the center was captured on live television. Within minutes, that clip was everywhere. It is going to be very hard for Democrats to undo that visual of them being seated when asked about the primary function of the government being to protect its people. That there was one of the biggest moments throughout Trump's entire speech.
If there's one thing the State of the Union proved, it's that patriotism and love of country really bother these folks on the left. As President Trump said, these people are crazy. The fact that some Democrats would not stand for a 100-year-old veteran who sacrificed for this country so we can have freedoms and liberties is absolutely sickening. They also would not stand for Irina Zarutska's family. Irina was stabbed on the train coming home from work. There were over 70 Democrats who would not even show up for the State of the Union. They hosted an alternative Drain the Swamp event with people in frog costumes. They are a bunch of overgrown theater kids who don't want to do any actual work. They can't even get participation trophies because they didn't participate or show up. Now, Sisterhood of the Traveling Scammers, they did show up, but the second President Trump mentioned fraud or loving our country, Ilhan Omar was apoplectic. She was melting down. There are Democrats who would not stand for the Olympic men's hockey team. This isn't even a partisan issue. Okay, sports are supposed to bring everybody together. Look at this guy. Okay, he's in a mask. He won't even turn to look at them. This is a member of the media. Remember, 90% of the media, they hate you and I, and they also align themselves with the Democratic Party and carry water for them. One Democrat who did show up was Nancy Pelosi. I don't know if she was overserved at dinner. She had a hard time keeping her eyes open, but a diet consisting of nothing but Pinot Grigio and hatred for Donald Trump can't be good for your body. I've said it before, but I'll say it again because I know some of you are new here. I don't even think this country is divided by Republicans and Democrats anymore. It's divided by those who love the United States of America and those who seek to destroy it. You can look at some of these polls, right? A huge swath of Democrats believe political violence and extremism are justified. What's sad is that there actually are a few good Democrats who want to work across the aisle, get things done. They come to Washington with good intentions, but now they have to capitulate to this extremist wing of the party, and we're looking at it right now. These are people who do not want you and I to even be here. The Democrats in Washington, they claim to hate President Trump, but they offer nothing else. You guys have no identity. You have nothing going for you. You have no policies to put forth. All you have is Trump derangement syndrome. We're over here loving the country. We're patriotic. We are not going to apologize for loving the United States of America. And we have free speech. You don't have to love President Trump. You don't have to like him. But if you don't admit that the country is better off now than it was 4 years ago, then you're lying to yourself.
You see, I don't know the audacity of this woman to be from a whole different country coming over here trying to dictate how things should work and saying she wants to abolish ICE simply because she's an immigrant. I'm not going to say illegal, but they're saying allegedly that she's here illegally because she married her brother just to get the paperwork to get over here to the US. I don't know, y'all. This screams like they need to start doing a little bit more screening on who could become a US congresswoman or congressman, right?
Look, nobody stands up. These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy. Deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
We need to see who these elected officials really are. Are you for this country? Do you have feet on both sides of the fence? We need to know this right now. Let us know in the comments. How do you feel about this? Like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel.